Hello everyone, my name's Dean. Let's talk crypto. This is where you subscribe for daily Bitcoin updates and technical analysis. We track the price of Bitcoin as a proxy for the cryptocurrency markets at large. Today is May 31st, 2022, and I'm coming to you again for the second time. Alright, today is May 31st, and the stream is working. Coming to you again for the second time for the Tuesday live stream. Welcome one and all. Alright, looks like we're good to go. Right, don't forget to like the stream, subscribe if you're not yet subscribed. Today on the live stream, we're going to talk about how far can this pump go, right? How long will this pump last, right? This is what a lot of people want to know, right? Typically, when price starts to move in the opposite direction of a trend, few recognize the change in trend, okay? So my area of expertise is Elliott wave theory. For those of you subscribed, you'll know this. One of the precepts of Elliott wave theory is that every impulse, right, every trend happens in 5 waves, okay? Whether it's up or down, 5 waves. The first trend fundamentally is not easy to recognize by the masses, all right? It's only at the third trend, right, or the third wave that most of the masses recognize that the trend has changed, all right? So I don't expect people in the markets to recognize this as a trend change and a legitimate move to the upside until we get into the third wave, and that may not be until after we reached this level right here, okay? This level right here at 40K, all right? I'm looking at it in this way, all right? And this is just a guesstimate, but this is an educated guesstimate, all right? Let me turn on the VPVR, which is my horizontal volume indicator, and let me go into the daily time frame, okay? Daily time frame, VPVR. Reason I'm doing this is because I want to identify key support and resistance, okay? And it's likely that our first wave stop at a key resistance, right? So I drew this up the other day, but I'm just going to do it again right here for the purposes of answering this question. How high can we go? How far, or how long can we last? How far can we go? All right? And then I have some more interesting things about how long can we go. And I'm going to be very specific in answering that question. So stay tuned for that. Okay. I think that this is a major resistance right here, right? This is the first major resistance. So I anticipate the first wave of Bitcoin's move and here, somewhere like this, or maybe even up here somewhere, right? But in that region, okay? Let's just put this in as a placeholder. So I would anticipate we come in this area of resistance, right? There's a lot of buying pressure and selling pressure in this area over here, okay? So what I anticipate is for us to, if this is indeed an uptrend that continues, and it's likely that it does, just as I said this morning, if you jump on the weekly, you'll see very, very clearly, and I love how simple this is, right? Good technical analysis, I believe, in my estimation, is simple. You know, it's not overly convoluted. You don't have a bunch of reaching theories that are improbable or don't happen that often. Those are very, very seldom the case, right? Usually it's a very simple answer, right? You look at these 3 candles. They're really strong bullish candles with, so 3 weeks in a row, 3 hammer candles in a row with long tails to the downside showing strong buy pressure here. And then the following week, which is the week that we're in, you have some upside, you have some buy pressure, you have some upwards momentum, okay? That's just pursuant to the price action in indicated by these 3 prior weeks. So it's very unlikely that we come back down. Okay, so assuming that we do continue, I think this is going to be the progression. Okay, and again, the other case to be made for moving to the upside and not the downside is that you've gotten on the weekly time frame 9 consecutive weeks down. You've never ever in Bitcoin's history gotten that many consecutive weeks down, okay? And the last of those candles has a long wick to the downside, big volume candle, that's capitulation. That means for us chartists, us analysts, the end of a trend, the capitulation of a move, okay? And this move, this looks like it's an impulsive move. If that's an impulsive move, and this is a kind of a middling or a break in before that impulsive move, then this is likely a 3-wave move. This, to me, is very clearly, unambiguously a 3-wave corrective pattern, okay? 1, 2, 3. And then you can break it down even further. That's 3 waves in the first leg. That's 3 wave in the second wave. And that's 5 waves in the last, okay? So that's a 3, 3, 5. That is a textbook flat correction. All right, enough with that. Now let's talk about the upside, because I think a lot of you who have clicked onto the stream are of the belief, right, of the assumption that, yeah, it looks like we're going to change to the upside. And, question is, how far up? Some people are saying, oh, 34, 35, that's it, and then we're going to turn around. You know my macro outlook on the market, and if you do, then you know that doesn't make much sense to me. Let's hide this for a second. I'm just going to show one thing, right? Because I want to set the stage for why I'm even entertaining a matriculation to the upside, okay? And I'm just going to do this with some simple lines. You're in a range, you've been in a range going up and down in this range ever since ever since you hit the top in April of 2021, okay? April of last year. So from there, you rejected down, you came back up, made a new all-time high of 69K, came back down with this 3-wave move, and now, in my estimation, it's very clear, it's kind of elementary, or it's highly probable, let's just say this, it's highly probable that you test the tops of these ranges, and you may even breach the top of this range. And I'm going to tell you why it's likely that we breach the top of this range, and why the absolute top that we can reach, in my estimation, is $104,000. We cannot go past $104,000. So I'm going to redline that right here. Okay, just keep that in mind. Now, insofar as where we're going to go and how we're going to get there, let's get our trend line back. Okay, here we go. You will see quite a bit of resistance here, okay? I don't think that's a big argument. I think most people will tell you see support there, support there, support there, support there, resistance, resistance. This is going to be a big line in the sand. 44K, anywhere between 40 and 44K, your first wave is going to end, okay? So let's say the first wave goes up until that point. From here, where we are, that's approximately a 30 to 40% move. Let's be more specific. Let's say, 30 to 40% move, okay? That's a 30 to 40% move. So let's just placehold that. All right, wave 2, let's say retraces the maximum of your 618, right? I'm of the school that believes wave 2 corrections don't retrace any more than 618 of the previous uptrend, okay? Or else they're not wave 2, they're B waves, okay? I know people at Elliott Wave International would disagree with me, that's fine. But that's my belief, and that's what I've seen, okay? So I think wave 2 we can project wave 2 to the 0.5, okay? The minimum retracement is 382, maximum of 618. I think in my mock-ups, my estimates in trying to predict or how do I say this? If I'm modeling a move up, it's always best to put the 382 or the wave 2 at the 0.5 because it's more than likely to come somewhere in between 382 and 618. Okay, so that's just probabilistically what is likely to happen. All right, now from wave 1, now that we have wave 1 and wave 2, we can project wave 3. Okay, we know how to do that. All we have to do is simply take the trend-based fib extension from the bottom of wave 1 to the top and retracement of wave 2, and we know that wave 3 typically ends anywhere between 1618 and 2. Or sorry, yeah, the 1618 and 2, okay? So that is likely to be, well, given that it's going all the way here, I would say it's more than likely that this wave 2, do you see what I'm doing here? Okay, let me just go retrace a little bit, okay? So we have a little bit of confluence. This is what I'm doing here. So I said I'm going to just assume that wave 2 ends at the 0.5, okay? Because, you know, more than likely, just on the numbers, it's likely to hit between 382 and the 618, right? So I'm just going to put it at the 0.5. But I'm more than inclined now that I projected wave 3 to put it at the 618. Why? Some of you guys may already know exactly what I'm thinking right here. It's first and foremost, you know, we know that there is some support here. So, you know, anywhere in this region is fine. You know, there's support here. There's support here. We're in a good region for support. But if you go back to the Fibonacci extension, you go from the beginning of this wave 1, bottom of wave 2, it's likely that wave 3 end where we ended before. So we made an all-time high at around 69K, right? And wave 3, the 1618 of that wave 1 projection and wave 2 retracement is at 70K. So I think it's more than likely, if you have a wave 3, that it end around 70K and not any higher. Does that make sense? And the way you can get into that region is if wave 2 retraces all the way down to the 618. So I hope that makes sense as to why I'm looking at it in that way, okay? So that's my projection for wave 3. Now, using wave 3 and taking our fib retracements of wave 3, our estimated wave 3, this is all estimation, okay? We know that wave 4 in a typical 53535 progression goes anywhere between 236 and the 382, okay? And it looks like the 382 would be perfect for this retracement, okay? So let's do that. Let's just move the wave 5 for a second, okay? And so we see here this level, and we're on the weekly. So this is a high time frame. So when you're seeing wicks, you're seeing some good levels. You know, some people, their entire trading strategy is based off of candlestick analysis on a high time frame, looking at weekly opens and weekly closes, daily opens and daily closes, okay? So this is, there's some merit to this strategy, just looking at levels, right? And so you see a weekly open right here. You see a weekly open right here. You see some open. This level where is confluent with the 382, it's very likely that our wave 4 come down to this area, okay, and does that maximum 382 retracement. And again, it's a 382 Fibonacci retracement of this wave 3. You saw that. I just took the retracement. I'm just going to pause real quick. If you guys are here, welcome to the Tuesday live stream. Like the stream if you're getting value, and let's keep going. Okay, so how do you project wave 5? Again, I'm answering the question, how high can we go? If you're an impulse, every impulse, according to Elliott wave theory, this is basic Elliott wave theory, Elliott wave 101. Every impulse happens in 5 waves. These are the 5 waves that I'm projecting, and I'm using Fibonacci retracement and projection levels, right? This is based on math. Fibonacci projection and retracement levels to give an educated guess as to the length of the different waves. And I'm also using basic support and resistance given our weekly opens and weekly closes. So this is my strategy. This is what I do when I'm mocking up a progression, okay? So wave 5, we know, can be projected in 2 ways. One, the inverse wave of wave 4, the inverse 1618 of wave 4, okay? Or you can also have, and this is just on average, okay? It doesn't have to be. Any of these waves can be truncated, right? Any of these waves can be extended. So again, this is just probabilistic. Or wave 5 can be the 618 extension of wave 3. Okay, so if you take wave 3, Fibonacci extension of wave 3, right? Retracement of wave 4, and the 618, you see almost exactly what we would get given, my previous calculation, which is the inverse, inverse 1618 of wave 4. Okay, do you see that? So it's around 84, 85. But again, wave 5 can be extended. But let's just say it ends around 84. Okay, let's just say that. Then you need to pivot, because you can't just up and turn around. That's not how price action turns. If you're subscribed to the channel, I'll have said this a million times. Every time you get rejected, you have an initial break of structure, right? Usually comes into the region of your previous wave 4. And then you have a B wave. I anticipate that this B wave takes us up to 6 figures, okay? And then it's the nuke down, all right? And this nuke down is likely to come anywhere between 22,000 and 11,000. I've discussed this before on a longer term outlook of Bitcoin. And it's likely, if you're looking at the 22 to 11,000 range that this retracement would make, there's a lot of confluence at 13K, between 12 and 13K, okay? And that's something we can look at later. Right now, just looking at, the immediate short term, this is how high I think we can go. I anticipate that we make a progression of this kind, of this nature, okay? I wouldn't be surprised, because this is all based on math probabilities. Wouldn't be surprised if it looked very, very much just like this, okay? So at the end of the day, what you will have gotten is Bitcoin from here pumping about 100. I'm on log. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's clean this up, because I was on log. Excuse me. Let's clean this up and make sure that my values aren't skewed, because I was on log. Excuse me for that. Let's see. Okay, somewhere here. I'm just gonna rerun my retracement levels, and this is important, right? Please remember that. Wait, 1 second. What's this? No, that's my. Okay, that's fine. I was just looking. That's my reversal. My impulse starts here. Yeah, that's 618. That's fine. That's fine. Now let's do my extension. Yeah, you have to be very careful using log and not using log. There are times you use it, times you don't use it. If you're making precise measurements, being on log or not being on log makes a difference, okay? So here, look, the 1618 and the 2 kind of keeps you in this range, which is, I think, more likely than not, okay? I think that this, whoops, didn't want to do that. This range right here will represent significant resistance, okay? I don't anticipate that be broken before a retracement. So I think wave 3 has to go at most, okay, is going to go as far as this goes, right? As the top of this goes. So I don't anticipate wave 3 come any higher than 66K, right? So I think that's likely. So anywhere, this is, again, 1618, between the 1618 and 2 Fibonacci extensions right here, right? Do you see? That's, so anywhere over here. It could be over here, It could be over here. So that's wave 2. Again, wave 3. Wave 4. Let's do a fib retracement of this wave 3. Okay, yeah, that's around the 236. That's fine. I'm fine with that. And then you would have to get an extended wave 5, and I'm not against that idea. Okay, I'm not against that idea. Why? Because once you break this channel, okay, let's say wave 3 goes all the way here and hits the 2. Once you break this channel right here that I have in blue, although you're still in a flat correction, okay, you're not in pure impulse, you're going to get some volume, some strong price action to the upside right there, okay? So I'm not against us having an extended wave 5. So in that case, it would exceed the inverse 1618 of this wave 4, right? Because that would only be around 72. And then obviously it would also exceed the 618 of wave 3 and the retracement of wave 4. I hope you guys see how I did that there. I know this can be a little bit cumbersome, or this can be a little confusing for those of you who aren't that versed in all of these relationships and how you calculate these waves just probabilistically, but it's not that complicated, and you do it enough times and it kind of makes sense, okay? So I would say we should probably get an extended wave 5, right? And that target would be the extended wave 5 would likely be right there. Do you see that? Do you see that? I mean, that works beautifully. Do you see what I just did there? Okay, so I wouldn't be surprised if we got an extended wave 5. Obviously, this doesn't have to work out exactly this way, but I like to do this because I'm not going to trade this necessarily, but I like to prepare myself for a likely scenario. And if that plays out, then I'm really, really, really prepared, all right? But of course, I'm going to wait and see what price action tells me and go on from there and adjust my my projection, okay? But I would not be surprised if this exact scenario plays out. And what is that scenario? We put in our wave 1 around 40 to 44K, reject to, you know, the one to the 618 around here-ish, okay? And then we pump up to wave 3, basically to the top of this channel, okay? And then we reject one more time. And then we finally break the channel. And when you break the channel, you're going to break the channel for an extended wave 5, which is going to basically have a target of the height of the channel, okay? And the height of the channel right now would be approximately 100K. That's how you get your 100K. This is why 100K Bitcoin is likely. It's likely. So fundamentally, it's likely because it's in the zeitgeist. People have been talking about a 6-digit Bitcoin for the longest, okay? Speculators are really anticipating that. Just like you have psychological resistances, you have psychological targets. Any big round number, right? If you go from 5 figures to 6 figures, right, in any asset class, it's a big deal. I think that we will collectively create or manifest that 100K Bitcoin, and the math here that we're looking at, all this technical analysis is math. When you're not just drawing lines willy-nilly, but you're using, you know, ratios and Fibonacci and stuff like that. You're using math. You're using probabilities and stuff, right? So the math plays out. The math just showed us that you've taking the height of the channel and superimposing it at the top. The target is 100K. I think that's where you get 100K. Then you get your pivot, which I don't know how big the A wave is going to be honest with you. But it's going to be a pivot, and then like this, a pivot and a nuke. And now for my main trick, if you will, or for the coup de grace, I'm going to show you this exact pattern in another asset. Can you believe it? So I just showed you mathematically why I think Bitcoin will hit 100K. Okay, so that answers the question, how high will we go? Now I'm going to tell you that there's another asset in the cryptocurrency space that has done this exact pattern, okay? And we're going to look how long it took, okay? We're going to look how long it took. So just keep this in mind. Before we go to that other asset, I'm just going to check in to see who's here. You know, maybe read some questions, maybe not answer them, but read them. And just keep in mind, this A wave, let's see, this A wave for Bitcoin took 98 days, okay? Keep this in mind. Don't forget this, 98 days for the A wave. And then the B of B took about 182 days, okay? Just keep that in mind. 98 days, 182 days. So like, let's say 90 days, 180 days, something like that, okay? Keep that in mind. Okay, now let's check, see who's here, see what's going on. Hey, Nicholas, what's up? Definitely don't forget to like the stream. Shout yourselves out if you're in here. All right, no questions yet. Perfect. Now let's go and see how likely this is. This is the hypothetical, okay? It's based on probability, math, and all that stuff, but something completely different can happen, and, you know, that's just, you know, the world we live in, the market we live in. We take what we're given, you know, we don't know for sure what's going to happen. Now, let's check and see what I'm talking about. Apparently, there's another asset, and I've talked about this before. Yes, indeed, waves. Look at waves. Waves did exactly what Bitcoin did, okay? Remember, in this part of Bitcoin's progression, right? The A wave, so the initial break of structure, it took 98 days. In waves, it took 77, okay? This B of C, or sorry, this B of B, right? This part of Bitcoin took 189 days, almost 200 days, okay? And here for waves, it took 154 days. So a little less, right? It's a little faster in waves, all right? So just keep that in mind. We just did a comparison. But do you see the pattern? Okay, I'm going to draw it out just like I did in Bitcoin, right? This is where we were in Bitcoin. Does this, I mean, you guys like this? You see this? It's a flat correction. This is why, like, things like Elliott wave theory, and I mean, this is why you can do technical analysis, because you have patterns that repeat, they recur, and you can see patterns and you can calculate proportions and stuff, right? So you have a range that formed in waves, just like you have a range that formed in Bitcoin, right? In waves, the range was almost a little higher, okay? In Bitcoin, it's around 200%. Or sorry, in waves it's 200%. In Bitcoin, it is, this range height is around 118%, okay? So substantially lower, right? There's, and it makes sense, right? Waves is more volatile. It's a smaller cap coin, right? It's more volatile, so the highs and lows are just a little more pronounced. But you have initial break of structure. You have a 3-wave B wave, okay? That is the important part, because B waves don't always look the same. But in this case, we have what we had in Bitcoin. 3 waves in B, 3 waves in A of B, 3 waves in B of B, right? 1, 2, 3. And then we had C of B. And just like in Bitcoin, just like I'm sort of postulating, just like I'm not predicting, but anticipating, we put in 5 waves, all right? And look at, I want you guys to look at this shit. Look at this. Look at what you got here. Exactly what I just said. Almost exactly, all right? I'm going to put this down in case you're not seeing it, okay? You had an extended wave 3, right? Or yeah, you had an extended wave 3. Do you see this? Did you have an extended wave 3? I'm not exactly sure. Let's see. I'd have to go into smaller time frames to see where one ended, to be honest. Okay, so let's do that. Let's just do that real quick. One seems to have ended here. Yeah, I think I got that right. Yeah, around here. I think you got 2 there. Then you got 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, you got 3. A regular 3, maybe. Maybe. Let's just measure it real quick, okay? We want to be precise, or we're going to try to be precise. Okay, you definitely got an extended wave 3. Okay? And, okay, so this you don't see often. When I first learned Elliott wave theory, I learned that you can't get more than one extended wave, okay? It's either wave 1, 3, or 5 that's going to be extended. But you can't have 2 extended waves. Later on in my career, I learned that you can actually have 2. It's exceedingly rare. And another analyst, a colleague, Dan Dowd, showed it to me in Ethereum's chart. I forget when, but it's in Ethereum's chart. He pointed out that there was an instance where we had an impulse that had 2 extended waves. Wave 3 and 5 were extended. In this case, it looks to be what you're getting, right? Waves is exhibiting an extension of wave 3 and wave 5, okay? And look at what you got here. Basically exactly what you're getting in Bitcoin, yeah? You have your wave 1, right? This is where we're at in Bitcoin, almost exactly right here. We're at the bottom of the range, okay? We put in, this is the impulse. This is the move that we're in on Bitcoin. This is what I'm saying. This is why I'm saying it's altcoin season, because Bitcoin's going to slowly matriculate, just as waves slowly matriculated up to the top of its range and breach the top of its range. Yes, breach the top of its range, because it's very likely, right? It's a B wave, and we know that B waves, let's see if we can measure it like this, they only extend to a maximum of the 1618. Do you see that? So let's see if this isn't any different on log. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, we may have to look at this one on log only because it's an altcoin. Okay? It's tricky, I know, when to use log, when not to use log. But let's what should we do here? So we should be able to look at this without using log, okay? So we should be able to look at this without using log, because it's not such that, you know, you're just doubling, right? You're doubling in price. You're here in between the 0 and the 30s, basically between 10 and 30, and then you end up only at 60. So that's a doubling. You know, you don't have logarithmic growth. So we don't need log, okay? So yeah, if we do pull the Fibonacci retracement of this A wave, okay, and I remember I did this for Bitcoin, and I said the top is 104, okay? And here you had the top, the red line, which is the phi ratio, at 61, okay? And look at what you got, because this, my friends, is still in correction. This is still a flat correction that has not yet completed itself, okay? And I'm gonna show you a little bit more, 1 second. But you see what happened here is you had a move actually that ended, we'll have to go into the smaller time frames, but the move may have ended either here or here, okay? And then the pivot took you up all the way here, okay? So the actual move did respect the phi ratio of the A wave, okay? And you all know that the maximum retracement for any B wave, okay, if this is an A wave right here, just so I don't lose anybody, this is a 3-wave structure, initial break of structure, that's an A wave. This whole movement right here is the B wave. The maximum retracement of this B wave is only the phi ratio of this A wave. That's why you pull the Fibonacci retracement of this A wave, which gives you 61, okay? So that was respected. You saw that, right? After that, you get a pivot, and then you continue your correction. And your flat correction should take you, if we go on the weekly, and now we turn on the log, just to make sure, this flat correction should take you to at least the 382 of this prevailing trend. Now, we don't have the whole of this trend, so it's hard to measure, but we can use another ruse to see that usually this C wave ending your flat correction hits the 1618 of the A wave with the B wave retracement. And you got that. So that's like the minimum. You got past that. So basically you broke this channel to the downside. That's what you're looking for. This may be complete, okay? This may be a completed flat correction for waves, okay? And so you shouldn't anticipate any more correction to the downside in waves, okay? So that's just the quick and dirty of it. Now, back to our comparison with Bitcoin. Let's get out of log, okay? We can see that this progression, this impulse, gave you two extended waves, the 3 and the 5, and the 5 had a target which seems, just like in Bitcoin, just like I'm saying Bitcoin's likely to have, of the height of this channel that it broke. Do you see how that works? So just like waves broke its channel, it tested the top of its channel, rejected off the top, right, with wave 3 right here, gave you your wave 4 correction, then proceeded to break the channel and target the height of the channel, because any channel that's broken is targeting the height of the channel, right? That's just pattern analysis 101. You targeted the top of the channel, then that's all she wrote, okay? So this is how you can use patterns. You can use other assets to look at patterns, right? You can use that to make predictions that are probabilistically favorable, right? Because it's not about having a crystal ball or being sure. It's just looking at the math, looking at the patterns, looking at the likelihood that something's going to play out. And that looks likely. Waves may very well be a mini Bitcoin in its price action. And it may very well be 6 months in the future. So looking at Bitcoin 6 months in the future. 6 months in the future, Bitcoin will be tanking severely, right? Completing its flat correction and then turning around to resume or to begin or initiate a new bull run. Now, for the other part of the question, right? You clicked on this video. How long will this pump last? This was the topic. This was the question posed. Look at waves. Remember the ratio, okay? I told you to keep in mind. Let's do this really quickly. Date range. This is what I want. All right. So I remember I said this part of Bitcoin's. Well, is it this one? No. Let me take that more precisely. So the A wave in Bitcoin took about 98 days. It took about 77 days in waves. Okay. The B of B in waves took 161. Let's say 154 days. Yeah. And in Bitcoin, it took about 186 days or something like that. Almost 200 days, okay? And in waves, the impulse took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. You have 6 weekly candles, all of which are pretty much 5 of 6 of them are green. And the last one is massive. The channel break is massive. Okay, so this is something that I anticipate. This is why I kept saying 6 to 8 weeks Bitcoin. This is how long I think this pump will last. Just like, and we're gonna do a little bit of napkin math, right? Back of the napkin math. So this is what we're gonna do. So this A wave was 77, right? But in Bitcoin, it was 98, okay? So I'm just going to do this real quick on my phone, right? I'm going to get my calculator here. 77 over 98. I want a ratio, okay? And that ratio is about 78.5, 0.785. Let's 0.786. Ooh, I like that. Remind you of anything? That's a Fibonacci number. 0.786, okay? Here, you have 154. Let's just double check what it was in Bitcoin real quick. But this is using math. I know, Benjamin Cohen likes to use math, but I don't think he's kind of sloppy as an analyst, but he does use math quite substantially, but he doesn't really know how to read a chart. But math is important, and he's absolutely correct on that. Math is important. So you have 98 days here. You have, let's see, 182 days, okay? 182 days. Let's go back to our waves. So 182 days for that move, okay? So I'm going to do the same thing I did here. I'm going to use my ratio. 182 days, okay, in Bitcoin, whereas in waves it was no, that's not what I want to do. I want that as a denominator. So 154 days over 182 days. Let's see what that is. And I'm doing this all in front of you guys. I haven't done this before. That's 84.6, okay? And that's another Fibonacci ratio. Close to another Fibonacci ratio. I think 894 would be Fibonacci ratio, okay? So 84, 0.846, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to take, let's just use the 786, because the 786, and I'm going to show you this, between the 786 and the 914, there's a range that I like to play with. You see, in my Fibonacci retracement tool, anything between the 786 and the 914 is where my flat correction zone is. My typical flat correction B wave retraces to between the 786 and the 914. Those ratios that I just pulled up are in this region. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the median of that. Okay? Let's just use the 886, okay? Let's just use the 886. And what we're going to do is we're going to multiply these 6 weeks. We're going to say, okay, this is what we're going to do. Okay, so it took 6 weeks in waves, okay? And we're going to solve for X. Okay? That's how long we anticipate that Bitcoin's run will last, right? Because waves and Bitcoin, they're not exactly the same, different market caps. Waves is a little more nimble. It was a little more, it was quicker in its correction, okay? We can anticipate Bitcoin take a little longer, okay? So if here, we can do it this way, but I like to think of it more in this regard. Let's see. So if it took 6 weeks, and that represents 886, right? Then, let's see. What am I doing here? I think I'm confusing myself. All right, let's go to the chat real quick. You guys see what I'm trying to do? I'm confusing myself. My IB higher math higher teacher would be really disappointed in me right now. Let me think for a second. Oh, it's one. That's what I'm looking for, of course, because it's a ratio. Yeah, that's what this is. Okay, so basically I'm solving for X. Okay, so X is going to be 6 divided by 886. Okay, and so that's going to give me how long I think Bitcoin is likely to take in this uptrend. Okay, confused myself a little there. But yeah, I'm doing a ratio, so 1 is the denominator, yeah? So 6 over 886. And that's about 6 to 7 weeks. So again, we did our back of the napkin, math. It's 6 to 8 weeks. 6 to 8 weeks. I can't see this run lasting any longer. So 6 to 8 weeks, I think Bitcoin will be up here, completing our flat correction. Let's go back to Bitcoin now, and we did our waves analysis, right? Now let's go back to Bitcoin, our coin of interest. Let's give this 6 to 8 weeks, and so now that we're on the chart, we see that this is from here would be about 2 months, right? So May, June, July. So the end of July, right? So that means that you can expect some really quick moves, right? And again, this is the beauty of alt season, right? This characterizes alt season. This is what makes alt season. It's fast moves, right? Impulsive moves. Impulses are by definition quick. This is what I expect. This is why I expect it, right? When you ask me, how long do you think this move will last? I'm going to do my back of the napkin math. I'm going to look at waves. An asset that has a similar price action as Bitcoin, that's in a similar flat correction. I'm going to do the back of the napkin math on the ratio of its A waves and its B of B waves and all that stuff, and I'm going to come out with 6 to 8 weeks. I'm looking for a move that takes 6 to 8 weeks in Bitcoin. That's why I'm doing it. If you guys got value from that, like, share, and subscribe. I haven't heard anybody else talk about that. I've not heard any. I've been saying 6 to 8 weeks for quite some time now, because I think 2 or 3 live streams ago I did talk about waves, and I did eye that pattern in waves, right? I think it's all about this technical analysis stuff, right? You have to be consistent, but it's all about eyeing patterns, right? Patterns in one asset or in other assets in the same market, right? In the cryptocurrency market, and deriving patterns, deriving projections that are mathematically probable from those patterns. So 6 to 8 weeks, I haven't heard anybody talk about that. I'm not looking for this to go much further than the end of July, and I would anticipate that Bitcoin hit anywhere between 90 and 100K towards the end of July. This is what I'm anticipating for, but again, it doesn't really matter how long it lasts, but just to prepare yourself psychologically for how long it's going to take for you to take profit. And you definitely do want to take profit, because as you saw in waves, once you get to the top here, you pivot, you're gonna nuke, okay? And that's gonna be the real bear market. This was, you can see lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. That's a bear market. That's nothing compared to what's coming. People haven't seen it, right? So, guys, let me know what you guys think about that. That's basically answers the questions: how long I think this pump is going to last, and where I think it's going to go. All right? I know somebody asked during one of the daily updates they asked what my 10-year projection for Bitcoin would be. That's a very, very long investment horizon. 10 years it's quite something, yeah? I don't know that I can answer that I can't really answer that well, other than to say, if your investment horizon is 10 years, then you shouldn't really care about 50-60% moves, because in the aggregate it's just gonna go up, okay? And to quickly answer that question, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into my Bitcoin index chart, which is somewhere here. Let's just arrange alphabetically, and here we go. Oh, wait, where is it? Where is my Bitcoin chart? Is it this? I know it's not this. Is it this? Yeah, this is the index chart. This is it. But I seem to have erased all my... And that's fine. I've erased all my lines. Interesting. Let's see if I have them hidden. No, I haven't had... No. Oh. Okay, I know exactly what's going on. Okay, I have a different layout. That is... Okay, I got it. Load chart layout. I don't know if you guys know you can do this, but you can load chart layouts. So you'll see right here, I have a different chart layout, and boom, all my stuff appears. I don't know if you know you can do that. So I have the same chart, but on different layouts that I've saved, and this one is like kind of like my secret master plan for Bitcoin. Right? So this is, let's go on the monthly for this. And you can see I've got Bitcoin being in cycle 3. Okay, so this is the cycle wave with the Roman numerals, and this with the numbers circled is the primary wave 3. Okay, that's red. Green is intermediate wave. Right, I'm talking, for those of you who don't know Elliott wave theory, when you talk wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you have to specify which wave 1, which wave 2, which wave 3, which wave 4, which wave 5, because it's all fractal, meaning in every wave 1 there are 5 waves, and then in the wave 1 of those 5 waves are 5 waves. It's like Russian dolls that never really end, it seems. Yeah, so you see this nested count of 5 wave moves, right, tracking the price of Bitcoin since its inception in 2011, right? Or let's say 2010 rather. I have all these nested counts, right? The first one, the largest one, is a cycle count. Next is the primary count. Next is intermediate, and then next is the minor. Okay, and so if you don't know or you forget, all you have to do is click that little cog, and then see the degrees, and you can see from the largest to the smallest, right? Super millennium, millennium, sub-millennium, grand supercycle, supercycle. I just start off with cycle, okay? And then primary, intermediate, minor, okay? So that's how I've got it counted, okay? I think we're in the minor wave 2, okay? So my minor wave 2 is playing out. That's where I'm saying, okay, anywhere between 22K and 11K. That's my 382 to 618 of this minor wave 1. Does that make sense? Okay, so if you're looking at Bitcoin in 10 years, okay, that would take you with this trend, if this trend were to continue, right, that would take you somewhere around here, okay? So that would be around the close to the end of the cycle wave 5, right? And that's a number I can't even count. It's very, very high. So my quick and dirty analysis for where Bitcoin will be, to answer that question, where will Bitcoin be in 10 years? It's going to be really, 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 really high. It's going to be much higher than it is today. Okay? That's my quick and dirty answer. And if that's your investment time horizon, bless you, right? Just, put your money in and forget about it. There's nothing else to do. You're going to be extremely rich if, you have any Bitcoin. All right? Any other questions? Anybody want to look at specific altcoins? Let's go back to my daily chart layout. That is like my secret chart layout that I've saved. I've worked on that chart for a year plus, because it took a while for me to see the patterns and like to really figure out what I was looking at, and I finally came upon something that made sense to me. Obviously, it can change, but that's as far as I've gotten. That's what makes most sense to me now. Okay. Let's see. Let's go get out of the monthly. Let's go into the 4-hourly. Get off the log. Okay. So looks like what I was saying this morning may play out. Okay. Wouldn't be surprised if this 30,800 level is being retested, or even 30,600 down here. Yeah, I think we're coming down a little bit before moving back up. Yeah, and that is going to be quick, right? Just like I said this morning, very little. There's next to nothing between 32 and 40. Okay, so we're just going to skyrocket up here. I think once we start moving, we're going to skyrocket up here, and that's going to be the end of wave one. Just like I said, in the larger scheme, right? Somewhere in that region, wave one's going to end between 40 and 44. I think. Just coming in here, yeah. But at the same time, altcoins may move, right? Altcoins may already be on the move. Let's see the general. If anything is moving already. Gitcoin's already up. Clover, I think, is starting. Do you see? This is the beauty about altcoin season. It doesn't give a damn what Bitcoin's doing. This Clover Finance, it just started moving, right? I think recently, yeah? Yep. 2 hours ago, volume confirmation. Oh, Bitcoin's still correcting? I don't care. Buy. It's leaving the station, right? Waves is going to go soon. A lot of these things are going to go soon. I'm just going to go back to my actual trades. I think Cardano's starting to leave, right? It put in, let's see, what's it done? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. That's your flat correction. Look at that. So a lot of people are, oh, Cardano pumped so much. Let's short it. Have fun. Good luck. You're shorting a super strong trend, right? Cardano, we looked at this last week or 2 weeks ago. The 1618 of this one wave, what am I saying? If you look at the large time frame of Cardano, let's just look at it really quick, okay? Really quick. Go on the weekly. Okay. Let's see. Can you see this here? You can't see this on this particular. Let's see if we can't see it on Binance. Oh, no. I don't want the per contract. Let's see, Phemex. Phemex. Because it took a while to come onto Coinbase. Yeah, exactly. So, right, Phemex is useful. All right, so here, I'm just going to erase all this stuff. You have the first wave, okay? You have the first wave. Let's go on log because you can't make sense of this off of log. You see, on log, it looks much more different. The proportions are totally skewed off of log. Here, very, very clearly, you see 5 waves, okay? You don't have to be an expert in Elliott wave to count 5 waves here. You see that? It's very clear. Very clear. 5-wave progression. And you know what else is very clear? The flat correction right here. A wave, B wave, C wave. Okay? This is why Cardano has been puking for 6 months. Okay? While other coins got like, a bit of respite. They kind of got, whoops. A lot of other tokens went like this, like Bitcoin, right? Cardano's been putting in that impulsive wave, the impulse of the flat correction. That's why Cardano's next target is $113. Yes, $113. $113. $113. It is currently at 60 cents. When I say next target, I mean next major target, okay? And I told a neighbor this. I have a neighbor lives 3-4 doors up the street. And he's like, "Oh, how's crypto going?" I'm like, "Dude, this is a great time. You're buying support if you're going to get in." He's like, "I'm thinking of getting in." I'm like, "Not financial advice. Ticker ADA. It's smart. It's low risk because it's high market cap. It's proven, fundamentally super, super, super strong. Great team, great leadership in Hodgkinson. Okay, and beautiful chart. And you've been correcting for the past 400 days. If you had to get anything and buy and hold and not touch, it's this. If you have to get anything to buy and hold and not touch, it's this. I'm talking about long term, right? Because the next target, as I said, for Cardano is $113. You don't believe me? Watch this. Okay, first let's prove that this retracement is a retracement within the impulse. The impulse has not been broken. Okay, and again, I'm not of the belief, like a lot of the Elliott Wave International people, that wave 2 can retrace beyond the 618. If you retrace beyond the 618 in my book, you are in correction. That is a B wave, not a wave 2. Okay, any wave 2 correction for me in my book, given my understanding of Elliott Wave theory, do this for a living, this is my profession, has to respect the 618 ratio of the previous uptrend, the previous 5-wave trend. Okay, so let's say this is primary wave 1, this is primary wave 2. How do you project wave 3? We went over this when we were doing our Bitcoin projection. You take your Fibonacci extension tool from the bottom of your impulse to the top, retracement of the 3 waves, and you're targeting the 1618. Okay, let's see. Let's use the magnet to get more precise. Okay, there you go. You see that? I'm not pulling this shit out of my ass. $113.16. Is it going to go to $113? It's likely. Again, no crystal ball here. This is probability. Okay, it can go past that. It can go anywhere between 1618 and 2. Actually, it can go way past that, right? Because it can be an extended wave, and we know extended waves can hit the 2236, the 4236, and beyond, the 6854, right? It can go crazy. But average coin, average project, average asset, when projecting for wave 3, goes to the 1618. Between the 1618 and the 2, okay? Minimum projection of wave 3 is the 1 Fibonacci extension, so $13. That's how this is a great buy, okay? And it's altcoin season, so in the time, I don't know how long this is going to take. I have no clue, okay? I have no clue how long this is going to take. If only I knew. I mean, I would be a Brazilianaire, okay? Maybe I'm invested in it, but I don't know how long it's going to take, okay? But that is almost, it's, as crypto Twitter likes to say, it's programmed. It is programmed. It is very, very, very probable. And in the time that Bitcoin takes, let's say the 6 to 8 weeks that it takes to get up to the top of its range and then breach its range, Cardano might be doing some stuff. Where is it going to head? Where is it going to reach? I don't know. But you know who's going to miss out on it? Everybody that's afraid, that can't read a chart, and thinks that it's just going to go to 0, break the 618. They maybe think that it's a failed project, or maybe they think that we haven't yet reversed trends. Yeah, they're going to quote unquote wait for confirmation. They're probably going to buy once Cardano hits the all-time high again around $3. They're going to buy back. But let's say you buy back here, you significantly cut into your profits, and you increase your risk because you're no longer buying support. All right. So Nicholas asks, on some low cap altcoins, how does one even liquidate a large of a position? I would think selling at a limit would be nauseating altogether and form literal resistance on the chart. Yeah, I mean, people do a lot of crazy shit, and I mean, this is why some people make millions and then other people lose millions, right? It's a zero sum game. I think we all have the opportunity to make it, but not all of us are going to make it, right? If you're investing in your education, you're paying attention, you are not investing blind, you're more than likely going to make it eventually. Even if you're down or you've made some mistakes, you're eventually going to make it. But not everybody cares to put in the effort. A lot of people just want to be told what to buy, around when to buy it, and they don't pay attention. They don't know anything about what they're investing in, right? And a lot of these people run the risk of losing a lot of money, and they're probably the same ones that are selling support. They're selling Cardano right here. Or, a lot of people, even, self-appointed or self-proclaimed analysts on Twitter and experts who claim to know what they do, what they're doing, they're selling positions here. Like they're actually going on smaller time frames, right? And saying, time to sell. Garrett Soloway just sold his position. Like, Matt, Garrett Soloway is a really good trader. He's a really good trader. And he sold Cardano. He sold Cardano after a 25% pump. Okay? And that's partly because, for some reason, he thinks that the move, and this is the beauty of Elliott wave theory. I'm just going to go back to our Bitcoin chart really quickly. Zoom out real quick. So Garrett Soloway, and I'm sure you guys have heard of him if you're into technical analysis and you're on crypto Twitter, you more than likely know who this is. He's a well-known trader. He's on Kitco News. He's on TV all the time. And he's not bad. But he thinks that what he sees is this. Do you remember how I told you there's a lot of confluence at around 13K? Okay? 12 to 13K. Do you see that? You can see it on the VPVR kind of here. Okay? And if you go to the weekly chart, you see a lot of weekly opens and closes here. Okay? So it's very likely that Bitcoin eventually finds its way down here. Okay? So Garrett Soloway sees that. But what he doesn't see, and what gives us who study something like Elliott wave theory such a leg up, is nothing goes in a straight line. And sometimes these patterns are really important. It's not enough to know where the price is going to go. Sometimes you really need to know how it's going to get there. So Garrett Soloway is of the belief that we're just going to go like this. Okay? He doesn't see this. So what he sees is a retracement, a small retracement, small relief rally, and rejection, okay? And then a dump down, okay? And he's a good trader, so what he's going to do is, once we break 40K, he's going to flip and say, okay, I was wrong, and he's going to be confused, but he's just going to play the trend, okay? But he just sold his ADA position after 25% gains. It's starting again already, right? He sold this morning. I follow him on Twitter. It's starting again, right? So that's just to tell you, even professionals with good track records, and he has a good track record, if they don't have the benefits of a tool like Elliott wave theory, they can make silly decisions. Like ADA is retracing, right? And this may be partially finished or completely finished. I'm not exactly sure. maybe partial to finish, but it's not going to take long, right? The beauty about altcoin season is these little retracements, you grin and bear them. It's not much. You're gonna save what, a few percent here and there if you try and trade these. But the worst thing is you might miss the next move. And the way you make money in altcoin season and taking advantage of these pumps is to ride the entirety of the trend, right? Because it doesn't matter. People sometimes, they look at charts and say, ooh, I invested in Bitcoin and it went 160%, but what they did was trade in and out of it, yeah? And so instead of, very few people get the entirety of a move. That's like elite stuff, right? And you're not expected to. Even, pros don't get, 100% of a move. Maybe 80 to 90%, right? If you're really good, you get 80 to 90% of a move. One of the ways you get 80 to 90% of the move is once you see the trend, you stay in it and you grin and bear this retracement and that retracement, right? Because you never know what you're going to get here. You can get a flat correction, you can get a quick zigzag, you can get a flat correction you can get a complex correction that takes a little longer, right? And you can get iterations or permutations and combinations of all of that in each of these. So given that you don't know, you know what you don't know, and you know that corrections are capricious and unpredictable, you stay in the trend and you know what you're getting, and by and large, you're going to win a lot more than you lose because you go on a higher time frame and you trade that. But a lot of amateur, and I'm not saying Garrett Soloway is an amateur at all. He does what he does. But a lot of people who are amateurs, not him, but a lot of other people are going to overtrade this. And I've said this, buy in May and walk away. A lot of these assets are still not broken out. You're literally at support. You're buying the proverbial bottom, right? You're buying the proverbial bottom. You have no volume breakout. So, I mean, it's just, I've made these mistakes. I'm speaking from experience. I was silly in, earlier in my career, and I'm happy I made those mistakes. That's why I'm so clear on what to do. Because, they say an expert is somebody who has made every mistake in the book in a given field of study and has stuck with it. I didn't just read about this. I didn't just study it. I literally experienced it. I have visceral experience. I remember where I was in my room. I remember where I was standing. I remember the feeling of selling a move, before it completed and trying to get back on the train and ride it up again. Don't do that. This is altcoin season. If you don't know, look at the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index. Study sentiment analysis. Study the charts on a high time frame. Look at some indicators like a stochastic RSI indicator, or if you prefer, a regular RSI indicator. You have every indication to tell you that we're in a trend change. We're at a macro bottom. It's it's relatively safe to buy. You have relatively limited downside risk, okay? And, if you really study your Elliott wave theory, you can make sense of your monthly chart looking bearish as hell, right? Because if you go on the monthly and you look, let's see, the monthly's bottomed out now too. Okay, the monthly was, is it the monthly that doesn't look good? No, they all look good. They all look good. I think it's the 3 monthly or something like that. Something crazy. Yeah. Okay, the 3 monthly looks bad. Okay? The 3 monthly looks bad. But the monthly, the weekly, everything is telling you that you're at the bottom of a trend and you're oversold and you're looking for a move back up. And then if you study Elliott wave theory, you know that, okay, you still have these levels here that you have to retest. And when you're going to retest them, likely after you reach the top of this range. All right, so that's pretty much it. Anybody else have any questions? This is like the time where you make easy money in the market. Right? Nothing's easy, relatively speaking. Right? It's all a challenge. Right? Even buying and holding takes patience, because you may see some of your portfolios increase substantially beyond levels that you can even imagine, and if you're not ready for it, you don't know what to do. Like let me share something with you. I was talking to my wife the other day, and I said this. You don't know what I do. You don't trade. You have no idea. So let me kind of open a window. Let me give you a peek into my life. Okay, you don't see my preparation. You don't probably even listen to my shows. But here it is. Day to day, I go through my analysis. I do all that stuff. You know that, right? Because her question is when cash out. when we gonna get a lot of this money that you keep talking about, right? And I say, look, do you know that a part of my preparation is not just looking at the math and looking at the charts, but also projecting certain assets that I have positions in when they do hit their targets, okay? When, let me just give you an example. Telcoin comes up and hits the overbought region and my alarm goes off, right? On my stochastic RSI, my weekly stochastic RSI for Telcoin, right? And my alarm goes off around, and I'll tell you where. So just like Cardano, you have 5 waves up here. It's unambiguous. You have a 3-wave retracement, a flat correction that respected the 618, okay? And your projection for the next wave is the 1618, okay? And that's just... so let's see. Let's get really precise with it. The 1618. So that's around 41, okay? So I'm going to use a confluence of that as well as my alarm for oversold tripping to start taking profit, okay? If you take a ruler and you measure the percent increase from where we're at, where I bought a position, okay, to where we're going, okay, it's a lot, right? That's 17,372x. I mean, that I can't even wrap my mind around it. It's even hard for me to read the numbers, okay? Because I don't have that much, right? But multiply my position now times that x, right? And again, probabilistically, the 1618, the phi ratio is where wave 3 is targeting, right? So if you have a $40 Telcoin and I have a position and I bought at 0.002 cents, that's a lot of money. Okay, so what I do to prepare, and this is important, hear me out. And I look at how much money I have, okay, in my position, I'm not going to reveal that, and times it by 17,300, say, okay? And I look and see how much money is my exchange going to show for my position, okay? Like, I want to mentally prepare to see that, because it's kind of like people who say, oh, I want to see an alien, and the second the ship comes, they run away. Like, you don't understand what kind of state you're going to be in when you see more zeros than you can count. Okay? Like, are you prepared to sell a $17, $20, $30 million position? Like, are you mentally prepared to do that? Okay? That's the question. So if you're not, then you might want to do that, because that's an important part of this process. Can you press that sell button and take your profit and execute your plan? This is part of my preparation. It's mentally preparing. So projecting and kind of visualizing that final stage. And then once that happens, I literally wrote a number of steps to do, because it's actually going to be generational wealth, right? It's not just money for me for the rest of my life or my kids for the rest of their lives, but it's like their kids will be okay with this kind of money. In that case, when you're taking profit on that, does your heart flutter? Do you shake? Can you sell the position? Are you going to get greedy and say, "Ooh, but it just keeps going up"? Are you just going to hold it? You know, what are you going to do? So this is what I shared with her. Like, just like, you know, world class athletes practice and visualize, you know, high stress, high tension situation scenarios, good traders have to do the same, I think. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I hope this was helpful. Hope this was useful. Don't forget to like the stream. Let me know if there's anything else you want me to talk about today. If you have any requests, any altcoin requests. If not, don't forget the motto: buy in May, walk away. Walk the hell away. Just let it mature. Sell only on high time frame resistance, right? And, you know, make life-changing wealth for yourself and your families. And that's it. That's it for me. Yeah. Take care, everyone.